We started this thing, and now that we're on top, everybody's trying to knock us off. It's us versus them. We must protect this house. Will you protect this house?
What's up, YouTube? It's me, the Artisan MC, fresh out of the dial. Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined while watching all this police action going on out here. When I just left the movie theater, and I don't know what the fuck is going on out here, but I got 2 patrol cars circling. And I'm trying to see what's going on, so I figure out which way I'm driving to get the fuck out of here. So, they went that way. They went that way. So what the fuck is going on over here? Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. So, they messed up little homeboy backing too. He was out here backing to some little thick white shit. They fucked that shit up. All right, so in the toaster, Partisan MC. Let's get about my way today. All right, so that is over. That is over. It's done. I've seen it. It did go almost up to the 10 o'clock hour, which I was kind of afraid it would, but Just trying to hang back and be sure. I've been starting to think nowadays that thinking nowadays about reviewing movies, about how people review movies. What do you look at to determine what's good, what's bad, what's decent, what's not decent? Because y'all know I don't put a lot of stock in critics, and I do hate spoilers, right? Can't stand people who want to spoil shit because they lead the fan base in a direction for a movie. The people that don't want to follow the shit every month or every year and find out, the details of what's going on, it leads them to flow and have an opinion about movies that may or may not be justified. Now, the other thing is about critics, being a critic, which is the idea is that you're critical, right? That you look with a critical eye about the material that you're watching. And that critical eye could just be, great, I fucking caught up to you. That critical eye could just be, hey, this is technically bad, right? Technical wise, this camera angle, this lens doesn't look good. Or this CG at this point looks like it's just a floating head and a floating face, right? That's all stuff that you can actually critique based on your experience or your expertise in one of those areas, right? Another one comes in the form of actually knowing and studying film, right? Whether you're a film student or you went to film school or maybe you just study movies like an avid, observer. But it's all about stuff that you do and you devote yourself to, right? Some of that gets shot to hell when it's spoiled. Because when it's spoiled, you don't have a critical eye. It may be stuff that you never even thought about pops up. Or you've heard so much that you're looking for these certain beats when you watch. And it's hard to divorce that from your head. Being the fact that most people can't stop themselves from having a fucking impulse to blurt out something as soon as they know it, you can actually imagine that it's actually very hard for them to not remember or blank the thought from their head that, hey, I got told this was going to happen in the movie. Incredibly hard. It takes a lot of mental discipline. A lot of people don't have that shit. So for me, watching this fucking movie, I heard all the critique, all the reason you should roll your eyes, and all the rest of that shit about it. And what I saw was just a fucking movie. Wasn't actually that bad. I mean, bad in the sense that is the whole thing terrible? No, the whole thing is not terrible. Um, but if you want to judge it on different things, you can be right to judge it. At some points, the CG looked like shit. And it's not shit in the sense that it looked terrible like some grade schoolers that did the shit. But it doesn't hold up next to some of the other CG not a seen before. Most notably on the train sequence in the beginning. I was really amazed with how Harrison Ford looked in the beginning of the movie. I really was. Like, damn, that looks pretty fucking good. It looks better than what they did in Book of Boba Fett with Luke. It looks really good. Now, how much money it took to get that to look at that damn good, I don't know. But there was another scene right next to that one where it didn't look good. And I'm like, they didn't spend the money on that one. They didn't spend the money on that shot. Some of those shots when Indy is outside riding the horse and stuff like that, yes, those look like shit. The head on those does kind of look like crap. It does. And you can see it's just like they pasted it on and tried to track the movements as best as they could. But it wasn't there. Okay. Now, I don't do digital effects. I don't. I don't spend hours on animating particles and faces and shit like that to just, CG cover a face. In a quick moving shot. I don't. I can imagine it takes a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of diligence, a lot of attention to detail. And if the scene is too fast, you never get it exactly fucking right. It'll never be right. Because you're putting a static image on an image that's actually moving. And to match up the blurs and all the rest of that shit, the color, and while the color is actually changing, look, I don't know if any of you guys have ever edited just video. That shit is painstaking and it's a pain in the ass. So I don't know. It did look like shit though. It did like, I noticed that. I noticed that. That doesn't look real. Just what it was. Now, first part of this movie, yes, it sort of feels like Indiana Jones all over again. Why? Because you drop Indiana Jones into his familiar surroundings. Be that Nazis in war. Tail end of the war, they didn't give the year. I guess I'm just supposed to remember the history book on this shit. Fine, okay. But it helps if you tell me exactly what it is because that grounds it. Yeah, she got ass. Why are you dropping her off, homeboy? You ain't supposed to be dropping her off, nigga. He's supposed to be trying to take her back to the peace. Got curves and shit, nigga. We going to get some tacos. Some drink. Guess he going to get drink. Just fine. Fine looking. But as far as the story, end of the day, it's a time travel story. A rune quest time travel story. Searching for these ancient artifacts that nobody else has actually thought about trying to find in some these places that are well traveled by people, but they just never had the fucking clues or curious enough to show up after the place is closed and go, spelunking and shit to find some of this stuff. Since it's just all laid out there. It is literally one chase after another. It is one chase after a fucking another. And by the third or fourth one, I was tired of it. I had to actually write the note like, fuck, another chase. Sicily, another damn chase. I was done. Because one of the things that is said in the movie is like, oh, they got Teddy. We're not gonna hurt him because he heard the information. Well, them motherfuckers wasn't there to hear that shit, so how do they know he heard it? But they're gonna use him as a bargaining. So we gotta get there first. No, you don't have to get there first. You know why? They don't know where the fuck they going. They don't know what they're looking for. So you ain't gotta go nowhere first. Let them up, wait the motherfuckers out. Shit. Because all they gonna do is follow you. Fucking stupid. That was some dumb shit. Um, seeing Harrison Ford run around as old Indy, I didn't like the jokes about him being old. I really don't. I don't see why that matters. Because to me, calling an old guy old who's had all these adventures, that's called experience, motherfucker. It ain't go away just because you're old. It just means you lived through all of it. So I didn't care for that part too much. I didn't. Teasing Indy about being old like he has any fucking choice in that shit. Like, so what? Y'all young and dumb. You know everything but how to fix a fucking radiator. How to do anything fucking practical. Because you were one run around Mary Sue MacGuffin. No, I know everything my father knew because I read all his notes and memorized them. Oh, you can speak that? I can speak it too, just better. Shut the fuck up. That was so much Mary Sue shit, it was getting annoying. But I let it pass because I realized partly through the movie what that shit was. And all it was is a transplant. That's all it is. It's a transplant. And once you understand that, you've been through it enough times. This is going to make me laugh. You've been through it enough times, you don't actually worry about the fact that, okay, this goofball is in the movie. What is she here for? She's here to be the better Indy. That's it. She's here to be the better, younger Indy. So he can go on and, get put out to pasture and let somebody younger and feminine take over. Because I'll tell you this. I told you guys this before about KK. She is not original. She is not a creator or creative. Either of the words with the C in it, other than the one I don't want to say for YouTube reasons. She is not a creator. She is not creative. She may be creative in finding money to finance these movies. She might be creative in that asset because that is actually what she's there for. That's what the producer's job is. To hold the purse strings and be able to sign the checks for the people who actually have creative vision and ideas and come in and make this damn movie. And not always to the producers' ideas. No. Maybe to the studio's ideas, but not specifically to producers. Producers don't specifically make shit. So, watching this movie, Helena is there. I wouldn't say Indy was following her around. He's actually chasing her around because she treated him like a punk. Stole some shit from him and ran off with it to sell it for money. She all about the Benjamins, baby. So he's trying to get artifacts back from her to keep her from selling this shit. But at the same time, she's trying to juggle both. She's just stealing this shit to sell it, to auction it off. And then on the other hand, no, but this was my father's dream, and we can actually find it and shit like that. You only want to find this shit to sell it. So it doesn't make any sense in terms of why you want to find it so bad. Just because you can sell it for 100K? Get the fuck out of here. That's so lame. That is such a lame premise. At least Indiana's premise with him stealing artifacts and stuff like that from the Nazis and other people was that he wanted to put it in the museum because it belonged to the world. It was knowledge that should be shared with the world. And that's why you put it in museums so you can study that shit, not sell it off to some rich asshole somewhere so you can make some money on it and go live high on a hog for a little while it sits in somebody's fucking safe for the next 100 years or so. That's stupid. It's a stupid fucking premise. Now, Helena flat out was supposed to be the newer, better version of Indiana Jones, and he's supposed to be handing off the mantle to her. Because of all the fan backlash, all the spoilers that came out and shit like that, they had to change that up a lot. They changed that shit up. I can tell you, I'm still interested to see what ending anybody else on the other coast saw. You have to tell me what your ending was that you saw, because I'm really curious. Because the ending I saw was safe as fuck. It was the safest ending they could get away with, and it actually debunked all the spoilers. But we know they kept shooting this movie and recut the ending all the way to last week. So this was the one they settled on, I guess. Um, yeah, excuse me. Elena was definitely supposed to replace Indy. Supposed to. Didn't happen, but that was what it was supposed to be. This motherfucking Teddy that everybody kept talking about that they want to see sequels with her, Helena and Teddy. Fuck Teddy. I don't give a shit about Teddy because Teddy ain't shit but a knockoff short round. That's it. A knockoff motherfucking short round. I'm like, look, man, why didn't you just bring the dude back? I don't need you to sit here and try to give me the same old hits with new characters. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's not even interesting. That kid looks so funny fucking looking to me. Like, I don't know what it is with Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm where they find the funniest looking fucking kids to put in shit. Got me hating young children. I mean, really? What the fuck? Little knock knee, little baby Leia got me talking shit about this little girl because she run like a fucking special ed kid. And then you got this hurt looking, racially ambiguous fucking boy sitting up here with a little bit of mustache hair. Like, where's his parents and why is he following this white bitch around? He tried to pick my pocket somewhere. You don't have pockets, bitch. You're a woman. Purses. Dumb. Dumb, dumb, dumb. Y'all respond in the chat so I know somebody actually alive where I can just go take my medicine and go to bed. Um, Teddy sucked. I don't give a shit about Teddy. Pointless fucking character. Plot device waiting to be captured or point out some shit. Otherwise, there was nothing for his ass to do. I will use JT's and Chris's idea is that if a lampshade could play that role just as well as them, was it a role for a lampshade? Yes, it was. I think the lampshade could have actually flew the plane too. Could have. Why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? There was no point for his ass to be in this movie. Like, for what? For what? Just so she could have her short round. That's all it was, dude. I got down to a point in this movie where Teddy flies a plane. And the first thing I thought of when I saw Teddy jump in this plane and try to start flying this plane is like Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace. That's the fuck I thought of. That same bullshit that everybody was complaining about George Lucas about Anakin jumping in a starfighter and flying it out into space and getting in a battle. This little motherfucker right here who ain't never flew a plane jumps in a Cessna, fires it up, and takes off in bad weather to chase after a Nazi plane, a Nazi bomber in the rain. Never flew a plane. Fuck out of here. That nigga should have crashed trying to get off the runway. But it worked for George, so I could do it too. I want that in my movie. Why the fuck does people keep giving her money to reproduce other people's work done better? Shitty versions of other people's work done better. Now, the problem that I'm having right now with this movie is the parts that I caught that looked like it came from another movie. Like, I don't know, the scene out of Serenity where Wash got shot with a fucking harpoon in the pilot seat. Why is this baby awake at 10 o'clock at night screaming? The motherfucking kids to bed. Why the fuck is that kind of shit in this movie? That's not creative. Somebody already did that. Making it creative. You doing it in your movie is not creative. That's a copy. Duh. Was there any hidden historical occurrences inserted into the script? What do you mean hidden historical occurrences? Look, for what I saw in the movie, they didn't go back to anything and fuck it up too badly until the final act. Because these motherfuckers do end up getting a dial and going through a time vortex back into the past. And the shit they did in the past changes the whole fucking future. And lucky this ain't a Marvel fucking movie, because they would have had the time variance authority showing up to fucking, shock stick they ass. There's a whole problem sitting there. And as far as I know, they just fucking left it. A whole fucking problem. Dude, I don't even remember Crystal Skull. I watched that motherfucker one time. It sucked. I never went back and watched it again. Now, the whole point of this thing having time travel in it is probably because the creative KK wants to keep throwing some of this other shit that she likes in there. Like, you know, Archimedes being concerned with weather phenomenon and shit. Like, I don't know, global warming or some shit, some environmental message. I'm like, this goofy bitch, why don't you throw some dinosaurs in there too while you at it? Looking for weather phenomenon and whatnot and tracking weather phenomenon. He just found fractures in space time. Oh, that's interesting. And they just occur randomly. But he figured out how to track them. Oh, okay. How? He was a brilliant man. Yeah, there's a bunch of them around here, but none of them actually making any kind of device to figure out where points in time where you can slip through to another dimension or another time and know exactly where you go turn up there without some computer technology. But he just did it with, I guess, a fucking abacus and a sundial or some shit, right? MacGuffin! MacGuffin. It's basically one big chase. You might as well have called this Indiana Jones Amazing Race, because that's what it could have been. It could have just been that. All they do is chase one place to another, and the bad guys always get a reason to catch up to your ass. While you've done all the work, they get to show up at the last minute. Thank you for getting it for me. I'm like, God damn, dude, this is old. This is old. Thanks for doing all that work for me. Now I'll take this. Now the scene, I think that made all the cuts where Indiana was supposed to probably die was that he does get shot. And he gets shot in the chest. So it makes it 10 times that he's been shot. After telling Helena that he had been shot like 9 times, once by her father. He gets shot for the 10th time in his chest as an old man. But this motherfucker alive and kicking for a long time. And I'm like, well, he's supposed to be dead now. Everybody else getting shot is dying from one bullet. The black chick in it got shot. She got shot in the chest. That bitch died instantly. But she's not important to the story, is she? No, she's not. But she in there trying to act tough and bossy against white folks. In the 70s? Afro girl? The fuck out of here. Okay, whatever the fuck. Feminine message. Message! J3, don't spoil the movie in here any more than I'm talking about it. You got a channel, spoil that shit on there. In case anybody wants to see this piece of shit. It's up to them. It's like mediocre at best. It was fun to see Harrison Ford on the screen as Indiana Jones again and actually doing some hunt for items and stuff like that. That's the part that I like about it. But overall, it's just like, look, man, I went to an IMAX theater. Look on Instagram. You'll see the pictures, how big the theater is. The big goddamn theater. That motherfucker was not full. It was very few people in there. Scattered. But it was a lot of people in my age group. So that makes sense. We Indiana Jones fans, so we was going to show up regardless. Right? But it wasn't a lot of people in there. But one of the things I noticed, very few people were laughing at some of this shit. Some of these points in here, people was, ah! Like, what the fuck are you laughing about? That shit wasn't even funny. I'm just watching this shit. I'm just watching this shit. It's not really funny. And some of the shit she was doing wasn't funny. And I got to a part near the end where Helena did something, and the guy next to me with his little salmon shirt wearing ass was laughing. I looked like, what the fuck are you laughing about? I really looked at him like, what the fuck? Shit wasn't even funny. What the fuck? But he was the only one. Look, that wasn't even funny. The fuck out of here. What was the other thing? Callbacks. There's 2 callbacks in there that comes from Raiders of the Lost Ark, but switched up a little bit different. One of them is a callback to Indiana Jones hating snakes, right? In Raiders. And have to go down into this pit where all these snakes. Well, since they can't do that shit again, this time he descends underwater. And now he's dealing with eels. Because eels are like snakes, thanks to Teddy letting him know that shit. Like, I don't know, Dr. Motherfucking Jones don't know what an eel looks like. He knows everything about antiquity, but this modern day common shit like eels look like snakes, he doesn't know that. He needed your big goofy ass to sit there and tell him that shit. But what does he do? He ends up going down underwater, dropping into a pit again, basically, and being set upon by eels. So he has to use a flare, which is like a torch for underwater, to bat away the snakes, the eels. I'm like, motherfucker, I've seen this already. I've seen this shit already. You know what the next one was? For Raiders as well, where they're going to get the idol, and Indy and what's his name? Alfred Molina. I think that's who it was. I think it was Alfred Molina in that. Sliding through the little crack in the wall, and they end up with all these goddamn tarantulas all over them, and then they have to clean them off. Well, since they didn't get tarantulas this time, we need some creepy crawly things. Look, millipedes and shit. Oh, and one tarantula. But we CG'd all the rest of the bugs in here. I'm like, God damn it, dude. What in the fuck? I've seen this before. What the fuck? I mean, really? I've seen this. This is not new. Not new. I think the part where they find the tomb, I think they stole that from National Treasure, Book of the Dead. From National Treasure 2. I was like, isn't this the same scene from National Treasure? Another Disney property? Where they have to go under the water to find the actual lever that gets them into work? Motherfucker. Look, man, don't tell me Transformers did a better job of doing this little relic hunt shit. I mean, for real. Yeah, I discovered some people laugh without external stimulation. Yeah, some people just laugh because they think this shit is ridiculous. Sure, it's not the world between worlds from Star Wars. No, look, these goofy motherfuckers is wearing out time travel because they're using it too much as a plot contrivance to tell a shitty story. Time travel stories are a genre unto themselves that is usually really good if you get the time travel part all the way out the way and get to the fucking story. This movie races towards the time travel part to get to the time travel part, and then it makes no sense. Dude, you put one more silly ass thing in here, I'm gonna have somebody fucking time you out. Fuck it. I'm gonna do it right now. So I don't know who the fuck you are, and I'm getting irritated with you. So a lot of chases, a lot of running around. I guess they were trying to keep it up to speed. Some spots and special effects are traveling mats or some shit like that. Some other bullshit that's not really looking that good. And I will say this: Indiana Jones is not a broken man in this. He's not a broken man. What he is a hurt man. He's hurt. He's lost people that he cares deeply about. And there's one point in the movie where he actually mentions that shit to this bitch lady who just, oh, let's go to the next thing. And like, I just lost my friend. My friend was just fucking murdered in front of me. He actually calls her on that shit. Like, oh yeah, right. For a hot minute. It's like, nigga, terrible acting. To me, that's terrible acting because you don't have that character having any concern for anybody else's life. None. That it actually has to be Indy to remind this bitch, hey, look, My friend just died. You know, the one you was just playing cards with on his boat and stuff. Yeah, he just got killed right in front of me. What the fuck? Totally oblivious. Her and the little boy. Like, oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Not to mention his whole crew, his friends. I don't know if one of the other dudes was his son or not. They all got killed too at the same time. Ain't nobody grieving for them, right? Y'all just worried about getting to the next thing and getting some money. Fuck you. Now, some of the characters were dumb. Like, I don't know God brother's name, but he was in Logan. He was in Logan, and he was playing like Pierce with the robot head, or what is that? I think that was his name. He's in this. His character makes no fucking sense. All he does is walk around killing fucking people for no fucking reason at all. Outside of, oh, the doctor told me to. What? Why do you keep just killing these fucking folks? You leaving a trail of bodies, which sets up the initial premise that, oh, Indiana is wanted for murder for killing some folks. He ain't killed nobody. And why would they think he did it? It's just some random people in the office dead for no fucking reason at all. Or he's the one retiring, and it's a retirement banner up there. To me, that's a subtle nod from Kathleen Kennedy to George Lucas, like, your time is up, old man. Time for you to go. It's retirement day. That's all that shit really rung to me as. That this was supposed to be her, you know, final kick out the door to George Lucas and the characters he created. But it didn't end up that way. Did the Helena character? Whatever the fuck, dude. No emotional depth. You never get why the fuck she gives so much of a damn about her father's work, but she ain't trying to carry on her father's work at all. But she just knows every goddamn thing. And I'm like, fucking Mary Sue. I'm watching this shit, and that's what I'm thinking. Fucking Mary Sue. I actually said that shit out loud at one point, like halfway through the movie. She said, oh, well, I know such and such and such and such. I'm like, and I said, fucking Mary Sue. You just know everything. I got it all memorized. I know it all. I can do it as soon as it's needed. I'll have that knowledge. Do you know how to get so and so? Oh, that's not gonna work. How does that even work? So now you're stupid at the same time, right? Fucking idiot. The Mary Sue-ism was, I guess, just dialed up to 80. Only when Dr. Jones was talking. Because mind you, she had just finished her degree, so she had a master's, but she ain't had no doctorate. But since she read her father's 7 journals and memorized them all, she thinks she is somewhere superior to Indiana, who's been doing this shit longer than she's been alive. Just because she's younger and memorized her daddy shit. That if you memorized your daddy shit, you should have been finding all the rest of this stuff first. Instead of going to Indiana to see if he had part of the dial to steal it from him, to go sell it off. Why didn't you do the rest of the goddamn work yourself? Because you don't know shit. You, just like Teddy's good goofy ass, are a plot contrivance. You know what you need to know at the time you need to know it. And only then. Any other time, it's a bunch of bluster about how much you think you know and how tough you think you are. And truth be told, the punch out count, I did take a punch out count. Helena got 5, Indy got 7. You know, one punch knocking motherfuckers out. Those little weedy ass arms that she was trying to make sure she showed by ripping off her sleeves like she got some guns or something like this. This ain't no fucking Linda Hamilton. This ain't Sarah Connor. I don't need to see your pasty ass, flabby arms. Put them bitches away. But you punching grown men and knocking them out. The fuck out of here, dude. Get the fuck out of here. One shot knocking them out at that. Even Indiana. Even Indiana Jones. You knocked him out with one punch. How, bitch? How? That shit was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. So my major gripe apparently is with the time travel part because the time travel part fucks up history completely. For what they did, fucks up history completely. It doesn't get corrected by your ass just going back to the future. No. No, motherfucker. You fuck things up permanently. So that shit is a bit annoying. Yeah, Beastly, 5 KOs, nigga. She was knocking niggas out. One punching. One dude, she got right in the triangle of blood. Nose and mouth. Pow! Went down. Like, yeah, I know it's a movie, but goddamn. At least Indiana hit motherfuckers in the jaw. You punched her right in the face. Yeah, 6 foot tall, maybe 200-pound woman. Unmuscular. Whatever. I don't think she was the star of this. The star of this to me was Indiana, that the movie was still Indiana's movie. She does a lot of shit in it. She's not the center of this damn movie. She's not. At least in the cut I saw. Because I'm telling you, this movie has been probably cut so many goddamn times. Some of this shit does not even seem like it's tracking. I'd be really interested to see what the first version of this motherfucker was. I really would be. I really would be interested to see it because some of the things it's like totally doesn't match up. Like Indy getting shot. He still had to get shot, but he didn't die. Even though the amount of time they spent with his ass bleeding out of a chest wound, he should have been fucking dead. And I'm not saying I wanted him to die, but he should have been fucking dead. He shouldn't have been still futzing around and having time to fight with somebody. You should have bled the fuck out. So make me believe that you weren't initially trying to kill this motherfucker off in this movie. Yeah, like a producer's cut. What KK really wanted. Because that initial spoiler about Helena going through time and reliving Indy's greatest feats, but putting her in the role, that would have meant they didn't go back to the future. They stayed in the past. Or she kept bouncing back and forth through time to different spots and just changing shit up. But only the Indy's past. Only the Indy's history. Taking his place, literally. Because she wasn't no museum person. She damn sure wasn't. She wasn't. Not in this movie. She wasn't a museum person at all. She's a fucking thief. Just like Teddy, a fucking thief. Kleptomaniac, lying ass thieves. Indiana was not a thief. Indiana stole, but he was not a thief. He was a scientist. He was an archaeologist. And part of the stuff that he stole was to bring it back so the world could have it, not just so he could make money off it. That's such bullshit. Dude, that is so lame. That is lame as fuck. Why would I watch a movie with a character like that in it? Unless it's just gonna be a heist movie the whole time. If you know the story of Indiana Jones, if you watched it, at least in The Last Crusade, where he got his hat from, where he got his little start with, River Phoenix was alive when he was young Indiana, what was he doing? Stealing from people who plundered to sell like that. That's who he was stealing it from. He was stealing it from people who would steal this shit to go and sell it. Black market or whatever. That's what he did. He was not about fiduciary gain on that shit. He was about the science, the learning, the knowledge. This bitch running through here. I'm better than Indiana, but I'm doing it all for money. Yeah, KK, I know. I know, KK. I know. Helena is your vehicle to take over the Indiana Jones franchise, and you did it for the money. I get it, bitch. I fucking get it. Newsflash, you ain't took over shit. You ain't took over the franchise. You did. This character would never float by itself. If I saw this character in a movie by itself with this goofy looking little boy with her, I wouldn't watch that shit. You'd be lucky to get that shit on the Oprah network. Followed by the remake of The Color Purple. You'd be lucky. Because neither one of those characters are fucking interesting. No layer, no depth, nothing that I really want to know about them. I don't give a fuck about either one of them. And I'm not saying that just because I heard spoilers about these motherfuckers. I'm saying that for watching your goddamn movie. I don't care about these two characters at all. I'm waiting for them to fade in the background somewhere. Just disappear. Your journey is over. You had the adventure with Indiana Jones. Thank you very much. We got some party gifts in the back. Take your goodie bag and fuck off. They're not interested. Not interested at all. And the fact that Indiana didn't die in this shit, you got James Mangold directed it, proves y'all changed the ending. Because we already talked about it earlier. We know Mangold kills characters. But he didn't kill Indiana in this shit. No, he didn't. He did not. So he must be upset about that. Must be. And I'm not saying he's a shit director. I'm not saying he's a shit director at all, but we know he doesn't have a problem killing the lead characters. And this lead character escaped, so he must feel some kind of way about that shit. He got to. Kennedy's Indiana Jones. Yeah, the Kennedy cut of Indiana 5. The Kennedy cut. You heard it here first. I want to see the Kennedy cut now. I just want to know how bad it actually was going to be. I really do. That would be very enlightening, just so I could see where, they stitched this Frankenstein together at. Fuck you looking at? So yeah, I want to release the Kennedy cut. Release the Kennedy cut. Hashtag that shit, somebody. Release the Kennedy cut. I'm just curious. I gotta know. I gotta know. But overall, out of what I've seen so far this year, you can see Transformers other than this. They lucky to hell that they actually dropped it this week and not in another week or two, because they would have got destroyed. Do I think it's gonna make $1 billion? Nowhere close. Nowhere close. And I'm talking about nowhere close to the tune of like 700 million, 800 million. Nah, nigga, you're not seeing that. Nope, I don't think so. I do not think so. I don't. Except for the fact that it's actually not as bad as all the spoilers were saying it was ahead of time. Because you put all those spoilers out there, it gave them time to go back and change this shit up. So it's a mediocre movie. You could see it, you could not see it. If it came on cable 3 months from now, you would watch it just to say you watched it, and then you'll go on to watching something else. That's about it. So I don't know. They didn't kill Indiana, so I'm happy about that. Um, I don't want to see these other two new characters in a spin-off movie. I don't give a fuck how much you talk about pumping them up in diversity and shit. Like, look, man, I don't give a fuck about women being in the shit. Marion was a woman. She was in the shit, and she was kicking some people's ass. So it was already diversity from the very first movie. You got Sala, you got all these other people of different nationalities in the movie. They just weren't the lead goddamn character. There was always diversity in this shit. Shut the fuck up. It's not diversity. Stop running under the D banner just because you want to put some white women up in front. So flat as a board, big nose, white chick. So like, and that's the other thing. Why does Kathleen Kennedy keep picking these fucking women that don't even have curves like fucking women? Like, there's a couple of moments in this movie where this chick makes like, ooh, there's possibilities. Like she looking at a dude and kind of turned, like she kind of turned on, like she might be a whore dog or something. And I'm looking at this shit and it's like, that's like cringeworthy. Like, I thought you were a lesbian. You don't even look like you like guys. Shut the fuck up. No guy looking at checking you out because there ain't nothing to check out. Ain't nothing to see. I mean, how the hell do you have, and this is not a spoiler, I don't think, but how the hell do you have old ass Karen Allen in the movie with a bigger rack than this young ass bitch? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's an observation. Why is she in her old age more shapely than your young grown ass? That doesn't make any sense. Kathleen Kennedy always picks women like this. Like some, is that the the fem model, the feminist model? A woman with no curves, no butt, no hips, no breasts, no nothing, just a face and some short haircut. The fuck out of here! You did the same thing with Daisy Ridley. Daisy Ridley is at least somewhat cute. Did the same shit to Kelly Marie Tran, got her all plumped up, looking like she waiting to go to Willy Wonka's. Seen that chick outside of that shit. She ain't fat face. She got some nice long hair. She's like, God damn, cute as shit. The fuck did you do during that movie? Put her in that frumpy ass outfit and shit. God damn. You don't like women. Or you don't like chicks that look cute. That's what that shit is. She got an issue. It's like the one ugly bitch in the office getting to hire the next staff, and she hire all ugly bitches. Chicks that look uglier than her. Fucking hell, dude. They ain't worth looking at. Yeah, it does seem to be a template, doesn't it? Like they always get some flat chested, board back ass woman. You know, the only woman that had curves in here and a little bit of ass? The sister. They killed her ass in the beginning. Yeah. White boy shot her ass down with all that attitude and shit. Gave her one to the chest and she died immediately. She at least has some ass. Fuck that. You can't have no women like that there. And I'm sitting here thinking about the rest of the movie. The rest of the movie, you don't really see that many women. See a lot of dudes, and a lot of dudes get killed. You don't see a lot of women. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Look, let Phoebe go on and make Tomb Raider. They can fuck up that franchise. She can fuck up that franchise all by herself on Netflix. This Indiana Jones, if you want to see it, see it. If you don't, you can miss it and you won't be missing shit. You won't be missing a goddamn thing except one big ass conundrum about y'all did that when? You need to fix that shit. You fucked up all of history. We on a divergent timeline right now because you've just totally altered the course of fucking history for the next 2,000 goddamn years. So thanks a lot. But other than that, Indy ain't dead. I'm happy about that. I came, I saw, the shit's over. Thank God. Now, can we get the box office total so this bitch can leave, please? Check. Party of one. Kennedy, can we go? Because I'll tell you this, I really hate, not the movie. This is something. This is a small thing. I really hate seeing the Lucasfilms logo and not hearing the lightsaber ignited in that shit. That bothers the fuck out of me. Bothers the shit out of me. But that's just a little thing. Just a little thing. But I'm out of here. I need to take my ass to bed because I got a lot of work in 100-degree weather tomorrow. So I need to hydrate and hibernate at the same time. So that's it. You can pass on it. You can see it. You might be entertained for 2 hours. You might be, depending on what you get entertained by. I was entertained by watching Harrison Ford on screen being Indiana Jones again. I was. It's a decent enough send off without killing his ass. Cool, fine. Give him his check. Thank you, Harrison, for at least one of these characters not getting killed. I'm not saying you had anything to do with that shit, but spoilers and fan backlash made them back up a step on that shit. So thank you in that sense to the spoilers for ringing the alarm on that shit, because that changed what would have been a serious late term abortion. And if my video get flagged for that shit, stop doing it. Then you don't have to worry about people talking about it. But that's it. Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. I'm Artisan MC, hanging out in the dark. And I will see you guys next time.